Hello fabricators, this is Mickey with StoneApp, and in this video we're going to talk about some of the tools that are very beneficial for those of you that handle commercial work. First, we've recently completed an integration with an industry-specific takeoff tool called MeasureSquare. We'll have an additional video on that coming soon, but I would definitely recommend checking it out as it is countertop specific and they have some really nice commercial takeoff functionality. StoneApp also has the ability to import and create areas and parts and selections from an Excel spreadsheet. So to do that, simply go to your quote summary edit, and under the actions button there's a place for settings and then there's a place to actually import. So let's look at settings first. What this is saying is if you want to distinguish that line item or that field in your spreadsheet as a material, you would number it between the number 1 and 20. And if it's an edge type, you would number it between number 21 and 30, etc. And you can see how that's set up. So now if we cut over to our spreadsheet, we can see where this line item indicator here in column D would represent that is a material versus an edge. Okay, let's jump back over to StoneApp and we will import that file. Simply select the import button and select the file. StoneApp will then process that file and create those areas and parts. So now we have our wellness area, we have our brake area, and we have this 312 brake area island. That matches that spreadsheet. So just that simply, you could take your Excel sheet that you've created for your takeoff and then import that to create the areas, parts, edges, etc. If you had more than one of each of those area types, it would import in at that level. So let's just say that there's 2 for simplicity here, and there's 2 of each. So we'll simply create that. We'll save those, but it would import in from that spreadsheet with the 2 already there. Other commercial tools that are helpful is, let's say that you needed to either edit or add new part names. And so you could come here and we're just going to randomly select, let's say, his sink and then her sink. And then we'll say in the brake area, right sink and then left sink. And then in the island, we're just going to say it's an island. So we'll say island 1 and island 2. I know this is slightly unrealistic, but the plans would help you with your naming convention. Before we move on to the effects of naming those parts, let's look at another nice tool that's primarily used in the commercial space, and that is this batch edit. So you can come here and you can edit your cost, margin, price. So if you negotiate for this material because you're doing so much volume of this material, you might be able to negotiate a better rate with your vendor, and you can come here and edit that. You can also edit your margin, and that goes for any of these line items. If you wanted to adjust your fabrication price to your customer, you could make that adjustment here, and it would propagate to all the fabrication done for all of these areas that you're showing. So this is a great place to go to adjust the quote as a whole when you're needing to make those final adjustments to, let's say, hit a certain price point. Another helpful feature is when you are ready to submit this to your customer. So you have all the scope of work that you need and you feel you're in a great position to send this to your customer, simply come to actions and hit submit quote. You can make a note as needed, and this then would show in your quoting module here that has been submitted to your customer. So you can see submitted quotes versus your quotes still in a bidding, those that have not been submitted yet. So additionally, under your system settings, you can set up your form template for your disclaimer by your customer type. So in the commercial world, you might have your language specific to the commercial business, and you can also have your invoice different than your quote, and even different locations as needed. Another helpful tool within StoneApp that particularly helps on the commercial side, and I'm pulling up a different project here to show you that, is when using the template, the field app, the template app, and you come to your part info, you can see in this case we are templating a kitchen. And when you're done with your template of that kitchen, your measuring software will show you what the square footage is for that area. And you can simply select that and then mark that it's 52, let's say. So now that you've done that, you've got 52 square feet here. And when you come over to your main application and you click on your quote actions, I'm going to refresh this and then click on quote actions, I can come down here and look at my estimated square feet, which was 57, versus my actual square feet. Now, if this was indeed, in our case, it's 52 versus estimated of 57 for this area, and you can see it's in green. If this happened to be more, it would show up in red, and if it's the same, it shows up in black. So you have really good visibility as to which of the areas that you're templating that day you should look at more carefully to see if the scope of work changed or if you need to bill your customer more. So next we will approve the quote, and as we approve the quote, of course all the areas and the selections, the entire scope of work, everything gets approved and a new job view is created. So once created, we'll select the job view, and you can see your areas and you can see your selections. And when you go to move these into a phase, so oftentimes in commercial work, you'll need to create a separate phase. So let's say that this is just the 312 break area island, okay? So now we'll save this new phase, and we'll go to our phase 0 here, and now we'll look to move our items into whatever phase we need. So in this case, let's say it's the break area islands. So we're going to move the items associated with that into our phase 2, which moves then the areas. So not only did it create the extra area, so 312 break island twice, but also the parts associated with that. And then we could easily see those parts in our phase edit because we took the time to name them before we approved the quote. So if we had 10 of these, you would have naming convention around all 10 of those 312 break areas. And lastly, because of the flexibility of billing and the tools associated in StoneApp to bill, you can bill by phase, you can bill by AIA and follow that protocol with percentages. You can bill for 90%, so you have the 10% retainage. All of that is also functionality within StoneApp. Above and beyond the flexibility of StoneApp for the billing side, we also have tools that help you understand how to nest materials. The way materials are handled, you can have the materials reserved to the job without being on a specific phase. And so there's a lot of tools in here and a lot of little nuances that make commercial project management easy. Thank you for your interest in StoneApp. If you'd like to learn more, you can schedule a demonstration by using the QR code and selecting the Contact Us form.